Hey guys, this is Red Silvers, and welcome to a special update video slash Pokemon tag thing. Somebody that I watch on YouTube, Tamashi, she tagged her viewers to do these set of questions, and I thought it would be a fun thing to do. I need to get some content out there again. It's been a while since I've made a video, so I just kind of wanted to touch base with all my subscribers and say what's up, you know. But I thought I'd do something a little interesting instead of just some random, oh look, I'm playing some random game that you guys don't care about for 2 minutes while I ramble. So instead I've got this list I'm going to go over. Though first I wanted to point out that I actually now have a Twitter. I'm going to go ahead and put a link for that in the video description. So I have here a list of questions, and I'm going to go ahead and go over those. So, first up is, what is your favorite Pokemon type? And I think that that's going to end up being Psychic. And anybody that played Pokemon back in Gen 1 in the Red and Blue days can kind of see why. Psychic was pretty overpowered back then. And that's when I first got into Pokemon. I did a lot of competitive battling back then because of my first job. And so, back then you just need to have a Alakazam or a Mewtwo on your team and you pretty much swept everything. And anytime that you made a team in that, you basically had to be prepared to deal with another Mewtwo because everybody was going to have one. So what is your favorite region? I'm kind of torn on that one, but I think that I'm going to have to say old school and say Kanto, which is the region from Red, Blue, Yellow, Fire Red, and Leaf Green. Partly because I've been through that area the most. There's some regions that I couldn't really say a lot about, like Johto I only know about pretty recently. Same with Kalos, I haven't really been through it that many times. I do like Hoenn, but I've played the Hoenn games way too many times, which is probably why I've stalled out in my Alpha Sapphire playthrough. But Kanto I've just been through so many times, got a lot of memories, so I'm going to say that one's my favorite. Number 3 is, which Pokemon games do you own? I actually still have a copy of Pokemon Red floating around, and a copy of Silver. And hey, if you've thought about that for a moment, then you can probably figure out where my handle came from. Aside from that, I've also got a copy of Pokemon Stadium for the N64. I have Pokemon Battle Revolution on the Wii. I have both the GameCube games, Pokemon Coliseum and Pokemon XD. I have Pokemon Battle Troze on the 3DS. As far as more of the main series games, I have both Ruby and Emerald version. I have Leaf Green. I have Pearl, Platinum, and Soul Silver. And I have White and White 2. And then I have Y, and I have both Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, although I'm not actually playing through Omega Ruby because my girlfriend is playing through that one. And of course, you can count just about every Smash Brothers game because that's where Pokemon came from. That's how I got into Pokemon. In the games, which gender do you normally play as? I usually alternate. Whenever I played in the last game, I will switch around. So for example, in White I played as a male, in White 2 I played as female, and so on. And that's just to mix it up because I play through these games so many times. Although anytime that I'm doing a Pokemon Let's Play, I end up being a female because that's what everybody votes for. Do you watch the anime? I have watched the anime off and on. I watched the original series and part of the Johto series, but not all of it. I've watched some of the advanced and that section, and I watched part of the Sinnoh series. I haven't watched anything beyond that. How many seen in the PokeDex of your latest game? Well, that would be Alpha Sapphire, and I've seen about 102 Pokemon, and part of that's cheating because I have I've been Wonder Trading a bunch of stuff. I did a bunch of Wonder Trading for Christmas, so I've got a bunch of stuff seen that's not stuff that I actually saw in my PokeDex. It's just stuff that I've seen. And in that game, how many owned? I'm going to say probably about half of that. Number 8, do you even like Pokemon? Well, let's see. My internet handle is named after 2 of the games. That's probably a pretty good indication that I like it. It's pretty much a series that I will always play no matter what. Do you collect the trading cards? As a matter of fact, I have a collection from back in the day, back when the original set come out, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in the next question here. But I did collect most of the first 3 sets, which are the base set, the jungle set, and the fossil set. And a good chunk of the Team Rocket set, which was the 4th one, I believe. And that's about when I stopped collecting. Although I also have a bunch of Japanese cards, because my family went crazy and collected those too. And that's going to kind of tie into the next question, which is number 10. If you have the trading cards, do you play the game or just collect? And I have a pretty unique answer to this question, because my first job was to play the game. Like, I would go to the Toys R Us and we would set up the tables, and my family basically were the ones running the event. We were kind of the chaperones, the gym leaders. We all had special yellow shirts that we wore, and we would keep track of people's points in their little booklets that they had. Every time you play a game or do different things, you would earn points, and when you got so many points, you'd earn stickers and stuff. So we actually were the ones that were running that up until we got unceremoniously laid off one day. We come in and they're like, this is going to be your last week here. Which is actually part of why we don't go to Toys R Us very often, maybe. So yes, I played the game a lot. And that's part of also where the collection come in, because my grandmother found out that these cards were going for a certain amount of money, and she decided she had to collect them. So she would go to import stores and buy Japanese cards. She'd pass out Japanese booster packs, and that's why I've got so many Japanese cards, as well as the English cards that I talked about. Number 11, do you draw Pokemon? There are a few that I draw. I mainly draw the Nidorans because that's one of my favorite Pokemon. And I kind of fiddle around with stuff, but I'm more of a doodler than anything, so none of my stuff is really that great. I actually have a folder right now, actually, in my bag behind me that has a Nidoran on the cover that I doodled one day in a class. So, yes, I do draw Pokemon. 12, what is your favorite Pokemon? And that's going to be probably the male Nidoran. And I think that's because the first booster pack of cards I got, Nidoran was in there. And I just really liked the design. It was this like spiky, evil-looking bunny rabbit. And I've probably used Nidoran on my team half the playthroughs that I've done of Pokemon. What is your second favorite? More recently, I would have to say probably Gardevoir. Ever since Gen 3, I've used Gardevoir on a number of teams. I've bred for Shiny Gardevoir. Basically, it's a good one to have on my team, and a Gardevoir Nidoran team is pretty awesome. So, what is your favorite legendary? I'm kind of torn on this one, because it used to be that I'd say Mewtwo. The RP that I actually got my handle Red Silvers from, Mewtwo was Red's signature Pokemon. But more recently, I've gotten into some of the legendaries like Manaphy and Meloetta. I used Manaphy in an RP that I was on at the Captain Estes Forum, and it was pretty much the heart of my team, so as far as actually battling, Manaphy was pretty cool. But Meloetta, I just like the design. I think that it's a cool looking gimmick. And I actually bought somebody a plushie of the Meloetta, so that one's pretty cool too. So, of the two, I'd probably say Manaphy tops Meloetta, but they're both pretty close. And I guess that answers the next question, because 15 is what is your second favorite legendary? So, that would be Meloetta. Manaphy was number 1. Do you know what number 493 in the National Dex is? I don't know off the top of my head, but I do know that that would be in Gen 4. I'm gonna make a guess that that's Arceus, because that just seems to be about that place. Let's actually look that up right now. National PokeDex 493. Yep, it's Arceus. I just went off of I knew how many Pokemon were in Gen 3, so I just kind of assumed that was a good number to end off Gen 4. So yeah, 493 is Arceus. I got that before looking it up. 17. Would you rather have a Meowth or a Growlithe? Well, Meowth has the benefit of giving you money, so that's always cool. That's actually a reason why I'd use Meowth on my team in the original games, was so that I could use Payday. And my girlfriend's probably shaking her head right now as she listens to this. Do any of your relatives play Pokemon? Not anymore. Back in the Red and Blue days, a lot of us played, but... And then there's the whole card game shenanigans, but... Right now, none of them really play. I think my brother plays on an emulator sometimes. He plays like Emerald and that, but he's not playing anything current. 19. How often do you think about Pokemon? Pretty much when I'm playing the games, I'll think about it, but I don't really think about it outside of that. 20. Do you hide the fact that you like Pokemon from your real-life friends? No, because they pretty much all know that. My best friend pretty much knows that I like Pokemon, so why would I hide that? My girlfriend and I are both playing through the games together right now, so no. 21. What pets do you have that resemble Pokemon? Well, I've got 3 Chihuahuas, but the closest to that is like Herdier, so I guess maybe. 22. What Pokemon do you hate the most? I don't know about hating, but let me think about that one for a second. I'm gonna say probably the most obnoxious is running into sturdy Boldors or Geodudes that when you're just trying to get through an area and you can't kill them in one hit and then they explode on you. So I'll probably say Geodude for that one. Which evolution do you like the best? My favorite evolution is Jolteon. That one was a mainstay in my Gen 1 playthroughs. Jolteon at the time was one of the fastest Pokemon. I think it was tied for first with like Alakazam and something else. So it was a good mainstay for getting out there, and it just had useful moves. It had Pin Missile, which did some damage to Psychic back then, and that was really rare. Although I do have to say that I used a Vaporeon recently in my White 2 playthrough, and I actually really liked having it to tank hits for me. But probably still going to say Jolteon. 24. Which cast form is the best? I've never actually used cast form, so just going purely on a style, I'd have to say the water type. But all of cast forms look weird because they have Peter Griffin ball chins. Which Deoxys form is the best? Attack form, because you can get extreme speed, so you don't need to worry about having the highest speed, because you can just use extreme speed and use its massive attack power. Articuno, Zapdos, or Moltres? Zapdos, because I guess I just really like electric types, apparently. Zapdos is one of the few legendaries that I actually used on a main team for a while, and I used him in Pokemon Coliseum a ton. Lugia or Ho-Oh? For that one, I'm gonna say Lugia, and that's mainly because Lugia has the movie, Ho-Oh didn't. I've never used either one in an actual playthrough, but I like Lugia. He's a pretty cool one. And for the final question, 28, which 2 people will you tag? And I'm going to kind of do what Tamashi did here and say that anybody watching this that wants to answer this can go ahead and do it. Because she didn't specifically name me, she just said to have her viewers to do it. But I am going to tag Narishim. And I'm trying to think of who else I can tag that's going to do videos. I'll tag Narishim and Mario Freak 1989. And I'm curious to see if either one of them will actually make a video. But I'm pretty excited for it. I'd like to see what they come up with, even if they don't have a lot of answers for this. I think it'd be a lot of fun. So as for the update status on this, because this is supposed to be an update video, I am going to start getting into the habit of doing videos more often. I've got a couple of My Little Pony videos ready to go, and they were actually recorded a while ago. I just haven't gotten around to post-processing on it, so I'm going to take care of that and get some content going. I am pretty excited, though. I want to get through the pony game, and I want to finish off Mario 3. There's some fun little bonus stuff that I have in mind for Mario 3, so that may take a little bit of time. But I do know that the next game that I'm planning on LPing is actually going to be Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie for the Genesis, because that's the version that I have. And so that'll come up after the pony game. And there's some other ideas that I have for Let's Plays, so I actually would love some feedback. If you want to leave a comment or post something on my Twitter, you can do so. But I'm thinking of doing either the original Legend of Zelda or Zelda 2. There is a Sonic game that I'd like to play around with that Beat's been playing called Sonic Classic Heroes, but I don't know if I'll make that an actual Let's Play or just kind of goof around with it, because he's already Let's Playing it and I don't really want to step on his toes. Plus, the game that it's based on is Sonic 1 and Sonic 2, and I don't really know those ones as well as Sonic 3. But I do kind of want to fool around with that. And I've had people suggest Donkey Kong Country games to me. And I've played the first and the third game, but I've never played the second. But that could be a lot of fun. So, there are some ideas out there if you've got others. I think somebody suggested to me once to play Evo Search for Eden. And I don't know about that one. That would totally be blind, but it's a possibility. But I thought I'd throw those out there and kind of see what people have to say. You know, I appreciate your guys' feedback, because as I've said before, you guys are the best audience. So, watch for more content coming soon. I'm going to get some videos up pretty quickly here. I'm going to try and get this one up today, the day that I'm recording this audio. And would love to have you spread the word, you know, see what you want to see. Tell me what games you'd like to see, and we can see how that goes. So, until then, this has been Red Silvers, and have a good night.